Brother lads, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Are Arsenal winning the Premier League title this season? Because we got an important result. A result that means that if Man City don't beat Tottenham Hotspur, it is in our hands. In this video, we're going to be diving into some of the 5 things we learned from this game. And my reason why I think right now, Arsenal could be the favourites for the title. I think Arsenal have leapfrogged a step forward in the title because of that Tottenham Hotspur game. Man City have not scored a single goal on the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and that could continue this season because Spurs and what we saw yesterday are not a bad side. And I think Ange Postecoglou is not one of those managers that is going to treat Manchester City to a 0 or a clean sheet. But I also think that he's a manager that has got all the resources and all the braveness to kill a Manchester City. So we're going to be diving into why I think Arsenal are now a little bit of the title favourites, although I think Manchester City still will win the title. And also, we'll be diving into some of those performances from the players over the weekend. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Let's get into it. And for me, number one, this Arsenal team are different. That is the first point I wanted to make, because look at this. This is a graphic that is making rounds on Twitter that this game ended 3-3. And obviously, when you look at this, when you look at that graphic and you're an Arsenal fan, at some point in time yesterday on Sunday, you thought this game was going to go 3-3. This game, something was going to go wrong, from the David Raya mistake to the penalty caused by Declan Rice. By the way, let's talk about it. Spurs always get a penalty against Arsenal. Like, it is one thing they love. It's one thing they really, really do get. A penalty against Arsenal. Harry Kane has buried like millions of them. Did they get a penalty in the first leg this campaign? Not really sure. I think they did. They didn't. Maybe they didn't, right? But why I'm saying that this Arsenal team are different, look at the way we held on, right? When we considered the second goal, this is what I said in my heart. It's going to go ludicrous. It's going to go wrong. It's going to be 3-3. And I was deeply, deeply afraid. But the way the team held on, obviously Mikel Arteta deciding to take off our captain and bringing on Jakub Kiwior, adding another, layer of defense. That was very, very beautiful from Mikel Arteta. One thing, of course, I didn't like about that is if Spurs got an equalizer, 3-3, then you need to look for a fourth goal, and you've taken off Martin Odegaard. That was a little bit suicidal. But the team was really concentrated at 3-2. Spurs really didn't look like they were going to score a third goal, although they were attacking. The changes made by Ange Postecoglou in bringing on Yves Bissouma and also Richarlison did make an impact. But overall, the game was well contained, in my opinion. It was well contained. It was just a few silly mistakes here and there, putting ourselves in nervous moments that we didn't need to. Apart from that, that was a good performance, right? We didn't play well. We won the game. And that's the difference between Arsenal last season and Arsenal this season. Because Arsenal last season played well against West Ham away, led 2-0, and we gave it away. We played well against Liverpool away, led 2-0 and gave it away. And again, we're talking about a Liverpool side that was poor. We're talking about a West Ham side that was a shambles. This season, we have beaten and we have taken 4 points of a much better Liverpool side as compared to Liverpool last campaign. So for me, in my opinion, I'm going to say it and I'm going to say it now. Arsenal are different and they deserve to win the title. I still think Man City will be in front. I still think Man City, are the favourites. I think the slip up that we are waiting for is not going to come. But this Arsenal team is different, and this Arsenal team deserves everything they get this campaign. We deserve to finish ahead of Liverpool. We deserve to finish ahead of Jurgen Klopp, and we deserve to finish ahead of Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. We are a much better side. We are a mature side. The emotional maturity, the emotional intelligence, right? And we will look back onto those games where there was no pressure on us. Fulham, home and away, win that game. West Ham at the Emirates Stadium, win that game. Newcastle at the Emirates Stadium, win that game. Those were games that we were supposed to walk away with 3 points. we were supposed to walk away with 3 points, honestly, right? And we look back on onto those games and we say, this is where we brought it. Will you lose to Aston Villa, home and away? And Man United, the worst Manchester United side I've seen ever since I was born, and I started, following football in 2006. The worst Manchester United side I've seen has beaten Aston Villa home and away. Why can't we beat Aston Villa home and away, right? So Arsenal different, but there are things we've got to correct. Secondly, Kai Havertz delivers again, and I was on the Cannon Fodder podcast, but then it was still running. It's now no longer running. And I said this, that Kai Havertz is going to be one of Arsenal's top scorers. Now, I'm one of the people who still think that 65 million last summer brings you a Victor Gyökeres. I still think that 65 million, of course, Gyökeres was not at the level he is at this season. But I still think that 65 million last summer would have brought you a Romelu Lukaku. I still think that Romelu Lukaku is a quality player, by the way. And that is the crazy part of me. I still think that 65 million pounds would have done better. But when I looked into this Arsenal side and I looked at a consistent performer, I was looking at Kai Havertz to go and get the goals, and I predicted 15 plus. He's on 12. We have 3 games to go. There is a shitty Manchester United and 2 games at home against Everton, who, by the way, have a record of conceding goals galore against Arsenal at the Emirates, and Bournemouth, who have been really decent, and Arsenal have to be very careful since it is it's an early kickoff. But Kai Havertz this season has had 2 faces. He has had the German face, and he has had the Chelsea face. The Chelsea face of missing chances, being slow, late to respond, and giving away the ball time after and after again. The German side, Bayer Leverkusen, Kai Havertz, quick to pounce on chances, brilliant on headers, investigates spaces very well, and he is a clinical finisher. Yesterday against Spurs, 2 things that he did. 1, he moved into spaces wherever the space was. Secondly, took his chances. He had that brilliant chance that he had taken earlier on in the game that was offside. I think Odegaard just goes a little bit earlier. If Odegaard just carves his run, right? I think when the ball is played over the top, Odegaard just runs straight. If he carves his run just to stay onside, that would have been really a beautiful goal. So Kai Havertz scoring twice, 1 is offside, and assisting Bukayo Saka. There's nothing more you ask of that guy. 12 goals and 6 assists this season. Yeah. Whoever did the I was wrong video, you are right to do it. And I've already done it. Whoever has not done the I was wrong video of Kai Havertz, you are still in demand. In debt, actually. Right? So Kai, for me, performance of the season, like, we played very well for almost 90 minutes. And it felt like we have our own Kai Havertz. It's not the Kai Havertz from Germany because it's more aggressive. It's not the Kai Havertz from Chelsea, because the Kai Havertz from Chelsea last season scored, I think, for them 9 goals. They're a top scorer. This season at Arsenal, he's not even our top scorer. Saka is our top scorer with 15 goals, right? So that shows you that in a more cohesive side, in a side that understands football and understands him, he can be a lethal weapon. Number 3, Bukayo Saka masterclass, and there's nothing to say about this. Ben Davies is still, nursing his injuries. Saka is a murderer, and he's a top player, like really, really top player. And I think when you see him, and clubs are committing 2 players against him or 3 players against him, it kind of kills what he is all about, because then you can stop him, right? And the bad thing about Arsenal, and the weakness that Mikel Arteta really displays a lot, is when teams gang up against Saka, we cannot use our left hand side very well, because this should be the analogy. Oh, not really analogy, but this should be the solution. If Saka is ganged up by 2 or 3 players, it means that there is space somewhere. There is space left by by players somewhere. And usually, when you create an overload on the right hand side, there will be spaces and there will be a free player in Martinelli and Trossard on the left hand side. But we never use that to our effect. We never score goals. We never create chances from the left hand side. And I think in this summer, the one thing Mikel Arteta is going to have to do is go out there in the market seriously to look for players that can impact the left hand side. I'm talking about a Rafa Leao. I'm talking about I don't know. We need quality on that left hand side. It's either he finds a way of upgrading Martinelli into the player he wants him to be, or he gets a Rafa Leao, who is for me a finished product. But yesterday, Saka was left free, and I said this about Spurs in the preview, that they don't care. Like, Spurs don't care who you are. They will give you these chances, and they will leave the spaces for you. So it's all up to you. You either use the chances or you don't. And Arsenal used the chances. We were given 1v1s against Ben Davies, 1v1s against Pedro Porro, and I thought Martinelli for me would have been a very great asset in this game. Disclaimer, if he was in form, he wasn't in form, right? So, again, Gabriel Jesus for me would have been the player to start on the left-hand side, because Gabriel Jesus, he's got those, razors under his boots, and he will use them against players like Pedro Porro. But of course, we know that Pedro Porro always pushes further forward, and that meant that there was always space to run into in behind. Saka was just good yesterday. Like, the goal, fabulous. The corner, fabulous. Really, really fabulous. And I want to see more and more of him next season impacting small games, right? I want to see him impacting small games, because for me, I'm not buying into this Bukayo Saka disappears in big games. No, I'm not into that. Like, Saka disappears in big games? Not really sure about that. Maybe this season he's not performed to the satisfaction of our fans, but of course we know that he is he is carrying a knock, he's carrying an injury, and we also know that he's one of the players that have played so many minutes for England and Arsenal as well. So I still think Saka, is a quality player in big games. I want to see him getting brace after brace after brace in small games. I want to see him score 10 goals in 5 games, because that is one thing he's not doing. He's got the chances to score twice and hat-tricks against small teams, and he's not taking those chances. Point number 4, which is kind of a negative. Mistakes almost cost us that lead. Mistakes almost cost us that lead. Almost cost us that game. Because let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. We scored the first goal. We got a goal up. And Spurs equalize through Mickey van der Ven, whose goal is actually ruled out. But look at how we deal with that situation. I don't think we deal with it well enough, because inches onside, that goal stands. If Mickey van der Ven is inches later into that position, that goal stands, right? So I think we did move out a little bit quicker and earlier, but it could have been worse. It could have gone wrong. So in my opinion, that is mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 that caused a lot of controversy was the Leandro Trossard penalty. Now, most people are looking at the James Maddison penalty, the Declan Rice one, but I think James Maddison was trying to find a penalty for himself. He's surrounded by an army of, huge Arsenal players, Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, they're all there, and he's trying to go to ground to find a penalty. But before that, Trossard is running across at the back of Dejan Kulusevski, and he clips him. On another day, if it's not Marco Oliver, that is given as a penalty. So those are 2 situations us putting ourselves into immense pressure, really immense pressure. Then we get lucky, we score a second goal, We also score a third goal from our set piece brilliance, which is, by the way, one of the things that we've got to appreciate. Jova for the set piece coach is absolutely done brilliantly. Arsenal have scored more than 12 set piece goals, and we have scored not really set piece goals, but more than 12 goals from corners. That is something that you rarely saw with Arsenal under Arsene Wenger and Unai Emery and under Mikel Arteta's earlier days. So then Raya gives away a goal from nowhere. Like, he just feels like putting us under pressure, and he does. And then Declan Rice, the derby emotions are getting to him. Boom. Mate, you've played for West Ham. You've played like countless London derbies. So mistakes almost cost that lead. Almost. Finally, we can win all our remaining games, honestly. And I think for our Arsenal fan, the one thing we want is to win all our remaining games. And I think we can win all our remaining games. Bournemouth are a problem. Honestly, they are a big problem. I want to show you something here. And this was not prepared before I started the video, but I just want to show you Bournemouth, right, on the table. So, Bournemouth are a problem. They absolutely massacred Brighton over the weekend. They've now won 2 of their last 2 games. They have 48 points. 48 points, same as Chelsea. 48 points, one less than Newcastle. 48 points. One less than West Ham. But the beauty about Bournemouth is this: they have scored 52 goals this campaign. So that is the game that Arsenal have next. Early kickoff on Saturday. We've got to deal with it. We've got to show up in that game. I don't want this business of Arsenal beating Chelsea, beating Spurs, beating Wolves, and then we suddenly capitulate to a nonsensical Bournemouth performance. If we are going down against Bournemouth, it should be a good performance. But I think Arsenal can win all their remaining games. I think City will win all their remaining games. So I'm not predicting who's winning the title. I'm just saying Arsenal can, but so can Man City.